Afternoon, students. So we will continue with our chapter, that is chapter number 16, water. Okay, hope you have revised the chapter. That means the source of water, where do we get water, the forms of water, and how we can change the different forms of water. That means from solid to liquid, liquid to gas. Okay, then I think we talked about groundwater also. Where do groundwater come from? Okay, then what are its demerits and what are its merits? That means if we use it, that means how we can replenish the groundwater, or how we can decrease the level of groundwater. So today we will be talking about distribution of water. Distribution of water. So what do you mean by distribution of water? So as you all know, in many parts, that means if you take an example of our country only, okay, in India there are many places where there is very less water, and in some places the water is in much more quantity. Okay, and what is the causes for that? Means what is the reason for less amount of water and more amount of water? Okay, actually it is rainfall. Okay, the rainfall is the factor which tell us, or by which distribution of water in various places decided. Okay, so as we all know that water covers almost 71% of the earth, and only few percent, that means only 1%, okay, in that 71% only, also only 1% is fit for consumption, or we can say it's fit to use by human beings, okay, and even animals also. Rest are of no use. That means some are in the form of saline water, or some in the form of ice and glaciers. So let's talk about distribution of water. Distribution of water means it is mostly decided by rainfall. That means where there is rainfall is high, we can say that at that place the rainfall or the water is in a good amount. Okay, and when rainfall is low, we can say that it is a dry area. Dry. So we will talk about the place where there are more rainfalls, or we can get more rainfalls, and the place where rainfall is very little. Okay. Apart from this, distribution of water is also determined by underground water. Okay, it is also determined by underground water. So let's talk about, first of all, distribution of water in India. Okay, in terms of India. So as we all know, on the basis of rainfall, okay, on the basis of rainfall, India has been divided into 4 zones. Number 1, or number A, we can say wet zone. Wet zone. Number 2, that means number B, we have intermediate zone. Number C, we have arid zone, sorry, semi-arid zone. Semi-arid zone, and the last one we have arid zone. So on the basis of the rainfall, okay, so on the basis of rainfall, 4 zones has been categorized. Okay, wet zone, intermediate zone, semi-arid zone, and arid zone. So let's talk about wet zone. So wet zone is the place where the rainfall is more than 1 more than 200 centimeter. Okay, that means it can be 300 also, it can be 400 also. Okay, depending upon the rain. So the place which receive rainfall more than 200 centimeter is termed as wet zone. Okay, so in India we can't say that this country this state is in wet zone or that state is in wet zone, but we can just figure it out, okay, according to the its area. So wet zone, mostly as we take India as an example, okay, that means coast of Arabian Sea. Arabian Sea, number one. So at the coast of Arabian Sea, if you see India map, we have a peninsula India. Okay, here is Arabian Sea, here is Bay of Bengal, Indian Ocean. Okay, so first I told that rainfall more than 200 centimeter. So in India, the coast of Arabian Sea, that means these coast is considered as wet zone. Number one, that means we can say Goa, Mumbai, okay, Chennai, not Chennai, actually we can say Kochi. Okay, so these areas are considered as wet zone. Another is northeast region. Northeast region means we have Meghalaya, Arunachal Pradesh, okay, Manipur, Tripura. That is rich in, we can say the states are rich in vegetation. That means forest. The forest covers are much in that area. Okay, so we can say northeast region. We have Arunachal Pradesh. Okay. Then we have Meghalaya, Manipur, Tripura, etc. Okay, that means this part of India. Not this part, actually we can say here this part. Okay, so wet zone are the places where rainfall is more than 200 centimeter, and coast of Arabian Sea, that is included in wet zone, and northeast region, and some part of, you can say some part of Uttarakhand also we can include, okay, because it is rich in forest, and some part of Punjab also you can include. Not Punjab, you can include Haryana. Okay, so wet zone. Then comes intermediate zone. So the place which receive rainfall between 100 to 200 centimeter. Rainfall between 100 to 200 centimeter. That means below the first one. Okay, these places are regarded as intermediate zone. And which states has been included here? Mostly part of Bihar, Bengal, means West Bengal, okay, Chhattisgarh. Then we have Odisha. Then we can include Jharkhand also. Okay, attached. That means the what you can say, eastern part of India. Okay, the eastern part of India, Bihar, Bengal, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, and Jharkhand. So these are the places which receive rainfall between 100 to 200 centimeters. Then third comes semi-arid zone. Actually arid we will discuss later, it means dry. Okay, so we will talk about semi-arid zone. So the places which receive rainfall between we can say 50 to 100. Okay, 50 to 100 centimeter, 50 centimeter to 100 centimeter. These places are called semi-arid zones, and in semi-arid zones mostly parts of what you can say Uttar Pradesh, okay, we can include Madhya Pradesh also, then Karnataka, parts of most parts of Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, comes in this zone. That means semi-arid zone. That means rainfall between 50 centimeter to 100 centimeter. Then at last comes arid zone. Okay, rainfall less than 50 centimeter. Means we can say that very little rainfall. Okay, and the places in which arid zones has been included, we can say part of Rajasthan, Gujarat and Ladakh. Ladakh is also a dry place, okay, arid zone, okay, but we can say this is cold desert, mostly desert, okay, where there is very little rainfall or only a small part of an area only receive rainfall. Okay, that means we can say that less than 50 centimeter. So Rajasthan comes in arid zone, Gujarat, most part of Gujarat comes in arid zone, and Ladakh, okay, comes in arid zone. So by looking at the different states, that means wet zone, intermediate zone, semi-arid zone and arid zone, we can conclude one thing. As for example, the distribution of water is more, okay, I will just mention here, okay, the distribution of water is more where there is forest, rich in forest, places rich in forest or vegetation. Okay, is it visible? Okay, it's not visible. Okay, so what we will do, okay, we can erase this, okay. Okay, so distribution of rainfall is more, distribution of water or rainfall is more where there is places rich in forest or vegetation. As for example, I told that in northeast, okay, distribution of rainfall is more. Why? Because that places are rich in forest. That means the forest covers are more than 60 to 70% of that area. Okay, and vegetation also. Vegetation means plants. Okay, mostly we can include plants. Second, coastal areas. Okay, so rainfall is more in coastal areas. That means coastal areas means coast of Arabian Sea as well as coast of, we can say, the Bay of Bengal. Okay, that means eastern coast and the western coast. Okay, this coast and this coast. Apart from this, the movement of air also determines the amount of rainfall. Okay, as for example, mostly during monsoon or in monsoon time, okay, duration of the monsoon, the wind blows like this. Okay, the wind blows like this. Okay, taking the moisture from the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal. So when wind blows like this, so first, that means when monsoon starts, Kerala receive the rainfall first. Like that means the first place to receive the monsoon rainfall is Kerala. Okay, then it will move towards like this, then coming towards it. Okay, at last we receive rainfall in the part of West Bengal, Bihar and few parts of Uttar Pradesh. But as soon as it reaches the north West India, the air loses its moisture and that place receive very little rainfall or no rainfall. Okay, so this was all about the distribution of water or rainfall. Now we will move towards water. Let's start with water management. Water management. So water management means how we can manage water. So as we all know, water is the natural resources. Natural and used by all living organisms, including plants and animals. Okay, so water is used by all living organisms, including plants and animals, but due to increasing population, okay, we face a scarcity of water. That means a lack of water. Water is depleting in groundwater, as well as the amount of rainfall that we receive in earlier times, okay, say we can say 3 to 4 decades, as compared to today is much more less. That means today we receive very little rainfall at some places, or we can say most of the places has been dried up. Okay, so we use water for domestic use as well as industrial use. Okay, and another, that means plants or natural organism, other natural organism, they use through soils. Okay, that means we can include groundwater. So mostly groundwater are used by other people, okay, or other organisms. So the thing is that how we can manage water, how we can conserve water. That means there are various ways to conserve water. As for example, if we are using water for domestic use or industrial use, we should use it in a appropriate manner. Appropriate manners means in a correct use. That means we should follow various precautions or follow various rules. That means how to save water, why not to waste water, okay, these things. So management of water includes preventing of wastage of water both at corporate levels and industrial levels. Okay, that means we should not waste water. Wastewater should be wastage of water, or we can say wastage of water should be minimized. Okay, that means in both domestic use and industrial use. That means it should be minimized. We should not waste water. As for example, if we have to take bath, okay, instead of using shower or instead of opening the tap fully, we should either use a bucket, or we can, what we can do, we can open the tap in a correct way. Okay, that means the amount of water that we are using in that manner. Okay, second one, recharging of groundwater. This is number one. This is two, recharging of groundwater. So what do you mean by recharging of groundwater? That means, do we have to pour water at the ground? No. That means the thing is that when rainfall occurs, okay, most of the waters move through the streams or rivers and go straight to through rivers and streams. Water flows straight to where? Oceans and seas. Oceans and seas. Okay, so this water is wasted. Okay, that means no one is there to use it. Okay, so for example, if you have a good brain, but if you are not using it, that is a wastage. Okay, same thing happens here also. When rainfall occurs, most of the water get attached to or move towards move through the rivers and streams and move, and finally it is poured in the sea and ocean. There it is of no use, because there it mixed with salt and it is not fit for consumption. So for this, what we can do, we can harvest it. Harvest it means rainwater, by the process of rainwater harvesting. Rainwater, number one. Second, we have very interesting topic, factors like dams. Okay, means the construction of dams also helps to recharge groundwater, not to recharge groundwater, but to use the water. Okay, instead of going waste in the oceans and seas, we can use the water through dams. Okay, through dams it can pour to various, through canals at various places. Okay, so we have two factors, okay, that helps us to manage water. First of all, prevention of wastage of water. Number two, recharging of groundwater. And recharging of groundwater can be done by rainwater harvesting.